Shanti. Before we begin, and mental silence in the presence of the Divine. Om Shanti. So, welcome all of you to the Values Workshop's special event. Oh, maybe the Turkish. It's coming as a disturbance.
I think it's all
Okay.
good. You are
So,
the
Sister
Turkish
Hiral,
room.
you
I
are
think you
being
are in the
heard in the
Turkish
main
room.
room. Sorry. Okay. So, I'll just carry forward. No problems. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, you can.
Manoj,
maybe you
brother,
can-
everything is good. You have to come to the
That's
main
okay.
room.
So, do you want to mute yourself and do the things?
No, Manoj
Yeah.
bhai, you have to come to the original room.
Okay.
That's why you are hearing her.
So good. We have all the speakers with us. And before I forget, let me just tell you, we have been doing these workshops since 2 years. It's still there.
Manoj,
Hilal.
brother, you have to choose to come to original room. That's why you are hearing Sister Hilal.
Okay. So you have to bear with this.
Sorry. Is it all good now?
Fine. I think probably you can mute yourself and then Sister Anu will take care of this.
Brother Manoj, are you hearing me?
We can hear you, Anu, sister, yes.
You are in the Turkish room. That's why you are hearing Hilal, sister. You have to come to the original audio. Then you won't hear. All is good.
All is good. I'm so sorry. So it's my mistake this time. Okay. Apologies. Yeah, so let us come to the values workshops. What we did in this since last 2 years, I think we enjoy these workshops where we sit with the participants. And what really happens is we use, I think, 3 spiritual tools, I must say: creative visualization, meditation, and reflection. And whereby we try to do 2 things: go in the depth of the value, which the Senior Raj Yogi has spoken about in the last week, and also try to make sure that can we implement that through various exercises in our life, in our action planning, the last exercise which we do. So we have our beautiful speakers with us, all 3 of them. I must say they look very and seem very humble and simple, but let me just tell you, they are famous TV personalities. And let me just start with each one of them. We have Sister Jenna with us, who is the popular host, and she hosts this famous America Meditating radio show. All of you are aware of that. Secondly, Sister Aruna. I mean, all of you know that she has been serving a lot through her blog, It's Time, and many other. She's almost written 8 books on that. And our dear brother Eric, how can we forget him? I mean, he was doing practicing journalism and a reporter actively for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And right now, he's the producer for many documentaries. So all these 3 have been serving the world in their own way, and very famous media personalities, I must say. So before I go further, let me just read out something for them. Sister Jenna, with her grace and spiritual poise, teaches us how to go beyond the worldly noise. Sister Aruna asks us to pause for a while and rejoice in the values lake, which has the color of blue turquoise. And finally, Brother Eric tells us that there is left really no choice with his angelic, sweet, gentle, and avyakt voice. When I say avyakt, it's not really avyakt in that way, but it's an angelic voice. And we have our anniversary here. So it's really, I have penned down a few words for our anniversary today of the Values Workshop. So today, as we celebrate the second anniversary of the Values Workshop, I feel the world underneath and I'm on the rooftop, because with wings of zeal and enthusiasm, I can now fly non-stop. On my life journey, I can now ascend higher rather than hop, and convert my experiences into a hit from being flop. I can indeed speed up without being blocked by a traffic cop who actually tells me, please proceed further rather than to stop. I can now clean my inside and shine by using the values mop. The grease and dirt of vices don't seem to exist, even a small drop. Now let's sow the seeds of the golden age and have a dainty crop. So I'm sure all of us are awaiting that new age, the new world. And with this, I would now request Brother Nikhil to share the video. So let's inform you that this video is all about a few snippets of the last 2 years where both Sister Aruna and Sister Jana have contributed immensely for the Values Workshop talks. So we'll just see a glimpse of in the next 5 minutes of all the past workshops.
Why should we think we are different? When we think we are different, we lose our strength.
Here, I've had this determined thought that I should be appreciative. I should stop seeing others, or stop seeing their weaknesses. Stop seeing or speaking about their defects.
Resilience is sort of a perfect blend. Those are my words, but a perfect blend of strength and flexibility.
And when I say detachment, it's from your over-exaggerated emotional response to situations.
And so keeping the mind peaceful and the heart full of love is the method for compassion.
Flame of the remembrance of God that keeps us all able to have courage to do the things we think we cannot do.
And so I am master, child of God, and I need this benevolence, which then brings forgiveness and kindness.
So plain intellect means then to be silent, to be quiet, to be introverted and introspective, to create vibrations and energy, to allow things to happen. That for me is simplicity.
Through our feelings and through our cooperation. And this is also a more subtle way to express our generosity. And through this kind of generosity, you open possibilities in the life of people.
This is the ultimate stage of selflessness, where I give something, or I give of myself, I do something, but I'm even oblivious to the fact that I am giving.
Empowerment of people and dedicating one's life to helping people reconnect with their own spirituality and developing a relationship with God is really the highest form of service.
Cleanliness of the soul, which is, as we know, just love. A vision of love, a vision of goodness, a vision of purity.
If you can pass through any situation with your self-respect intact, that is called victory. If you're able to maintain this inner state of cleanliness or purity, that's what leads to unity.
The question is, am I confident in being able to make someone content? Am I confident in being able to become detached when I want, where I want, as I want?
Because perfection emerges from a process of purification. The more the soul becomes pure, the more its perfect and complete states of being are seen.
Giving unconditional positive regard, it involves showing complete support and acceptance of a person, someone.
One that we need to be obedient is to our own inner voice of conscience. Because the conscience knows everything. What's right, what's wrong.
When we feel that what we're doing is aligned with our conscience, when we feel right inside, it's very easy to be joyful and to be happy.
Just don't be afraid of the failures. They're there to teach you something. Learn from them. God whispers to you. Try to hear the whisper and you will thank the failure. You will thank the setback. You will thank the hurdle that you made me a better person.
And so with grace, I approach each event as a blessing, each person, each lesson as a blessing.
So thank you so much, Nikhil Bhai, for sharing this. And I'm sure we're all motivated looking at these glimpses of the past 1 year, I must say. And thank you indeed, all of you precious jewels, Sister Aruna, Sister Jenna, and Brother Eric, for having spared your valuable time and your precious words of wisdom today with us. So the stage is all for Brother Eric now. Over to you. Thank you.
Well, greetings to each and every one, and welcome to this very special program. Very, very honored to be asked to participate. I know we are translating into many languages, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, well, then I can't be of any help to direct you to the translation room. So maybe translation here in other languages, in many languages. The heart, the heart doesn't need to be translated. The heart speaks such a language that any heart from any country, any language can understand. So I'm very, very happy that we're going to welcome two very beautiful hearts in amazing bodies, speaking wonderful words. So we'll have both Aruna and Jenna joining us for this little journey together. They must be really wondering what we're going to talk about, because we haven't premeditated any of this. And they have no idea if I'm going to be investigating a journalistic approach to their life, or if I'm just going to welcome them the best way we can welcome those with such a beautiful heart. So as you know, Canada is cold at this time of the year, and my balcony is already getting pretty freezing. But in the cold, there's still flowers blooming. So I went in the garden of my balcony earlier today, and I found two beautiful flowers just for both of you. They look alike, but they're different, you know, so you can feel them. Yes, Jenna, you can almost get it. And they will both look very nice with you. You can wear them here. Oh, let me get this side. You can wear them like this. It will be very nice. This is the Hawaiian style. And we can wear them in the heart, which is more royal a little bit. You can put it in your forehead. But you both, Jenna and Aruna, are welcome to this little chit-chat, which is going to be a conversation, not an interview, or I'm not just going to ask questions, but I'm going to be curious to hear about your thoughts. So before we go into the merging of our hearts in a beautiful meeting, this is a celebration. So this is a second anniversary celebration. And celebration means cake and candles. So with the magic of Zoom again, we did that also for the second anniversary of the Value series, Values for Life series. But this is also a special cake prepared just for today. I don't know what the Zoom taste will be, but you can imagine.
Is it non-caloric because I'm on a diet?
You're on the Zoom diet is perfect because you through Zoom get only what you are really needing. Nothing that is not fitting will come through the Zoom. So you Zoom it in a perfect way. So Anu will show us the cake of the day. And so now if you look at the cake, after a few seconds, you start to get the taste buds activated. Your eyes are getting wider and your stomach starts to get agitated. So this is a normal side effect of watching a cake on a picture. So let's celebrate and enjoy all the work, all the love that has been put into not just the cake, but the 2 years of this special program. So let the light be lit and try not to burn the whole room. Okay, that's good. I was afraid it would be sparkling and cut into fire. But it's on the beautiful little candles with a smile. And this is the dangerous one. Yes. So you can hear the music of the heart, the clap of the souls. And yes, this is 2 years to bring values into our lives. And it's really wonderful. So thank you. Are we going to be able to eat some of it, Anuben, or is it coming by mail or just by Zoom? I think the blessing will be that whoever eats the cake will spread the taste to everyone listening now. So you might get the taste later today. So thank you, Anuben and Manojbhai. You've both been very, very active in this series. And I wouldn't be able to name all the souls who have been participating as well. There's been a huge number of brothers and sisters for translation, organizing, making sure you put these dates in your calendar and chasing after seniors, making sure they reach on time. So through traffic, no matter what. So thank you all, Manojbhai, Anuben. I think you've both been very inspiring to all of us. So maybe each one of you want to say a quick little hello before we start our conversation. Manojbhai?
Well, I have spoken so much since the last 15 minutes. So I really immensely thank all of you for taking out your precious time for us. Thank you.
Anuben, what is the cake saying?
Cake is saying that the sweetness of values, it has spreaded so well throughout the world. And so much thanks to all of you, the seniors who fill us with the values. And it's really a blessing. It feels like a blessing. And with all of us who are here throughout these 2 years. Thank you from the heart.
Lovely. I know we'll have the input from various key actors in this program, Dr. Ashok Mehta, Sister Claudia, that will also be hearing a word from you, maybe as an intro, and then we'll meet you again at the end. So Dr. Ashok Mehta.
Congratulations first, and wish again next year to be still better and more prosperous in terms of values. I think your journalistic talent, Brother Eric, is adding a lot of spice to this program. Thank you very much. And of course, sisters and seniors who have been participating, they have given a beautiful understanding of life. Once again, congratulations to all the team members, Manojbhai, Anuben, and the rest. Thank you very much.
Well, Dr. Mehta, as you know, we cannot move forward without the win in the sale of our hearts, and you are definitely the win behind it with your blessings and your support. It's been very, very precious to have you every single program joining. It's been really a blessing. So thank you to you to be supportive to this initiative. And Claudia Ben in Vancouver, our Canadian grounds, where the lighthouse is at the moment. Any words?
Yeah, and I like to say thanks to everyone who has been participating, and so many sisters and brothers to come and share their knowledge with us. And also we have to remember those who, when we send a fire, who share the fires with their friends and relatives and students. So that's why we can go through all those 2 years. So it has been quite a lot of work done on the back, but I think it's worth it even for us. So I'd like to thank all of you who have been participating, and especially to the sister and brother Eric, to Aruna Ben, to Sister Jenna, who today are just showing the other face who are behind as well. So they are representing the other ones who are speaking to us. So thanks to everyone. Thank you.
So thank you. And now we had this introduction, and of course the workshop series has been aiming at implementing virtues. We hear about the virtues at length. I think even if we go on YouTube now and we look at what programs are going on live, I'm sure we would find something about virtues going on live at the moment, every time. But to put it into practice, that's when we need experts. So welcome to the experts. And I did mention about merging a few times. Did you notice? Merging hearts. I did another exercise. It's merging the names, because Aruna and Jenna becomes Arjuna. If you mix the two words, they become Arjuna. And I feel I'm going to experiment with my dear brother Arjuna, because he's the one in trouble, right? He's on the battlefield, and he's really wondering how to become the image of these beautiful teachings that he's receiving. And he has to be the first one to become the image. So both of you, Arjuna, Aruna and Jenna,
and
combined.
Eric,
Yeah, Eric,
it becomes Arjuna Jarek.
Jarek, then he will come in the he will come in the game. Thank you. And I was thinking, of course, my love for both of you is limitless. I admire both of you because you have many similar qualities as well. And I found in you the qualities of being real and being royal together. And we always feel that this is the foundation of truth, real and royalty. But also the other aspect that I think I would like to invite you to focus on this morning or today is this notion of authenticity. Because yes, royalty and truth, being real is there, but keeping the authenticity, I would feel for me is a little bit the aim in applying virtues in our life. Where I can come from in terms of introducing this conversation is that we hear from seniors very elevated descriptions of what we aim to be, the virtues of love and compassion, everything. But then when we go out of the Zoom and go back in our room, we find that there's sometimes a big gap between the theory and the practice when we go to work, those who are with a family, with children. And I think the workshops have been tremendously helpful in helping people to become real in their day-to-day life, so that this big theory, have a sense, and it could be practically happening in their life. So that's where I see authenticity to be very, very important, because sometimes we want to be so virtuous that we project an effort-making attitude when deep inside there's still turmoil, dissociation from certain qualities and struggles. So if you see me coming, I'm going to take you into a journey where you can help us to be real to be royal, and yet to be authentic. So let me start also asking you about a reflection on this workshop series, and also your blessings in terms of where do you think this series could take us for the third year? And from your experience of the last 2 years and what you see in general, the efforts we're making to implement the virtues, where do you think we can try to move forward to go even deeper and apply those virtues in a more real and authentic way? So who would like to be first? Maybe Genevieve, you want to initiate the conversation? You're already smiling, so I'm thinking the mouth is already open, so let's take advantage.
I just knew you were going to pick the Jena part first. That's what Arjuna does. Anyway, Om Shanti, everyone, and a very, very happy Diwali. And congratulations. What a feat. 2 years of being consistent with this team. And what I love, and I think Eric and Aruna Ben can attest to this, that Manoj and the team has been so sincere. And every one of these conversations that I've ever joined in, it never ever felt that they just winged it. They winged it and it was just last minute and they were going to just put you on or get on. They actually took time to investigate not only what the conversation was going to be about, but the time and energy in the way that Manoj Bhai would introduce us. That shows the sincerity and the quality of the time and the effort that has gone into this. So I can't begin to tell you how much of an example this has presented to me. And on many occasions, I've used you as an example and say, do you see how it's done? Do you see the quality? And I think the team here, Eric Bhai and everyone, is a great example of authenticity and truthfulness. As you were asking or raising the question, Eric Bhai, my gosh, there are so many things going on in my brain. First was, my early days when Daddy Janki sent me to New York. And there's this pure intent in you that you want to be and do everything that Baba's asking of you. And even when you're living with elders, that they will tell you, don't sit like that, don't walk like that, don't do your sari like that, whatever it might be, all the do's and the don'ts. And so you would do your best to emanate that because you thought that was what was needed. Maybe a year or 2 or 3 after that, I would feel like I wasn't real, Eric. And I remembered once I went to Baba's room and, in your early Brahmin life, Baba's putting so much into you and you're not even aware of what Baba's doing to you. So whatever people would see or feel, I had no idea what it was. But one day I remembered feeling a moment of deep honesty. It must have been about 2 years living in New York. And I went to Baba in Baba's room and I said, I'm not what they think I am, Baba. I'm not what they think I am. And then Baba whispered to me so powerfully, and I can't tell you how it liberated me. And Baba says, I don't need you to be perfect right now, but I just need you to be honest. And when Baba told me that, it gave me like a liberation card, a freedom to let down the guard and try not to be so perfect. Sometimes I think when you live with elders, there is a consistent vision on you. Do like this, do like this, do like this. And, Eric and Aruna, I was Jenny from the block. I just closed down my nightclubs just a few years ago. I'm like, what is this that I'm involved with? But everything in me wanted to please Baba. And I thought that pleasing Baba would show in different members of the family. And as much as I tried to do everything right, there was something else that was revealing itself. And I think, Eric, it has to do with the fact that the internal deep cleansing and work wasn't complete. It had just begun. But at that time, I didn't know. So here I am few decades later, and I'll tell you this, that signal Baba gave me in Baba's room, don't worry, child, I don't need you to be perfect right now. Just be honest. And with your honesty, it will lead you to perfection. I sit here in front of you, very comfortable with me, even if it doesn't seem to fit in a package that perhaps, I don't know, culturally or the world wishes to see you in. I feel that one day the package that will be revealed is exactly the one that Baba had seen the moment he put his eyes on me. So it's been a process, it's been a journey, and I'd love to hand it over to my sweet sister Aruna, who has been a mentor for me over the years and someone that I've met over the years and looked on and said, I love the way she moves because she's not hiding what she is. And I've loved that about you, Aruna Ben. So I'm passing the torch to you.
Naturally.
Well, I would also like to firstly give my vote of thanks to the whole team and what I have taken, because if I'm not speaking, at least I'm getting the messages and the invites. And every time I get a message, I just feel they're just persevering. And it's that continuity and dedication that I was seeing every few weeks that I really applaud. So well done to all of you, because normally it's so easy to start things, but to actually sustain it, that Vishnu part is not so easy. So congratulations. And I'm sure it will get better. We can add input later, but another big congrats for the third year. Yeah, thank you, Jenna, Ben, and Eric. Actually, I feel we're all three very good old friends. So yeah, this will, I'm sure, turn into a very natural conversation. Regarding my authenticity, Eric, as you were speaking, I was thinking there was no other way, because I just did not want to be a hypocrite. And so I've been quite honest about this, that for the early few years of my Brahmin life, I was trying to leave Gyan rather than come into Gyan, because I was being asked to fit into a mold that I couldn't fit into. And so although I was loving the truth, I was actually wanting to go away from the mold. And then I started living with Dadi Janki, and Dadi Janki was amazing in this respect. I mean, which is why we clung to her and love her and respect her, because she somehow just understood what each one of us wanted and needed. And so she tried always initially her ways. And if it didn't work, then she became a little flexible. But she kept making sure that the leash was, long enough, and she was in control. So for me and my journey, I always feel, who are you fooling if you're trying to lie or cheat or deceive? You are only fooling yourself. So it's just best to be very light and natural and easy and be honest, because we're actually all on the journey. We're all on the path to perfection. I don't think anybody has said that they have become perfect. So we're all on the path. We're all walking together beside each other. And so that's what's real, is the perfection is a process. So those are my few opening thoughts.
There's a few things. First, if anyone in this room, Zoom, is not too familiar with the Brahma Kumaris and our teachings, well, welcome to a very intimate salon where you are witnessing very good friends talking to each other about their very sweet Baba, which is actually their understanding of God's friendly, sweet, loving, and very approachable identity. So you can translate Baba into God and you'll get a picture. And the different references to elders and saris and tolis and everything like this is just part of our very sweet intimate fabric. So feel free to be comfortable if you are coming by mistake to this Zoom or voluntarily exploring the Brahma Kumaris. We want you to be very comfortable, lovingly sitting in this living room with all friends, just opening their hearts to each other and having a good time. And you're very welcome. And before the end of this meeting, you'll just be part of this family and you won't even know how. So welcome. That's in case someone is joining us. Second thing is also before I have really, really interesting comments to make to both of you. But before that, I'm just curious if we can take just one moment to explore the relationship between both of you and, how do you know each other, or just to tell us a little bit about your dynamic in terms of, it's just a big battlefield and everyone goes with their own cavalry and they do their own thing. And they sometimes turn around and say, oh, what she's doing here? Oh, okay, she's doing it. And you keep going. And you have to just keep going. I mean, the demon is chasing after you. But you see, sorry, I'm speaking a bit fast for translation, so I'll slow down. We all are in our own ways, tracing a path or doing something and being authentic. But you see each other. I can tell that both of you have been always very, very inspiring to me. Yes, we do, excel in communication. The three of us, we like to use the communication skills. But I met you, Aruna, in Oxford, where you are back now. You're back in the retreat center. And if you remember, we had a very deep conversation where you had to console me. Is it the English word? To heal my heart and to tell me, poor Arjuna, don't give up, you're not done yet.
I remember.
And we were in a little salon and you give me a pep talk when I was really at a pretty low time, not a low time, but I would say a crossroad. I felt I was a crossroad, and Maya, the little bad guy, put a lot of signs this way. And Baba, the God sign, was trying to say, no, you go this way. I was a bit confused, so Aruna was in a crossroad. And we sat for a good hour, I think, in Oxford. And you told me things that really boost me up. And I left Oxford saying, okay, let's go back to the battlefield and I can make it. So you've been inspiring me a lot. And Jenna, I've seen your trail of... Go ahead, Aruna.
Yeah, can I just comment?
Sure.
So, yeah, I remember that very clearly. We were in the exhibition room downstairs. Yeah. And I'm sure you don't know this, but after that, in so many of my meditations, I was sending you light. And I was saying, Eric, you've you've got to figure this out and you've got to stay. You cannot leave, and really I was sending you Sakash. We call Sakash as light, as power. And love from the heart. So I'm not sure if you felt it, but something must have worked that you're still.
Well, the love in the heart, from the heart to you, for you, has been the proof that the Sakash was connecting. And I see, and then we'll come back on that you're now back to Oxford after a very amazing journey in the Middle East. And Jenna, I've seen you also being very courageous in, bringing an image of yourself in the forefront, but to serve everyone. And the way you've been gathering people around you and making this incredible bouquet of, people who can understand what we're doing, but without necessarily wearing white saris and becoming, badged people. It's been really, really inspiring to help me, because I'm also very much in the media, in the public eye, and to remain real. How do you stay? I used to be also the kurta pajama brother with a badge in the street. And I realized that the response was not always, the one I was hoping for. And so both of you have been really, really inspiring me. And I think we're, lucky to have you as example, really, for sisters, but also brothers in the group. So how do you, both of you, kind of know each other a little bit, and tell us each one about you, so how you see your journey with Brahma.
I'll start with that. It's interesting, and I'm only speaking to those who might have just joined in this community, but in the culture and in the vortex of the Brahma Kumaris, it's like you meet somebody. You know, there's over 100 countries that come and go in either our centers or at headquarters in India. And you'll see someone across the room and your eyes will maybe meet each other and you acknowledge. And there could be like a soul link throughout time, but it's not really the time that you would be best of friends at that moment. But I remember, Aruna, the first time I met you, we were in India. You're not even going to remember this, but maybe you will, but we were in a workshop, and I think it was Ken, who's one of our senior brothers in the Brazil, was asking something about different forms of illusions that distracts us, everyone. And then Aruna is so authentic. She came out, she says, fashion. I just love fashion. And I don't know if you remember that. And I remember just sitting, you know, because now I'm like a young Brahmin, and I'm like, oh my gosh, fashion, and she's wearing a sari. You know how you get these thoughts, only to find out, oh yeah, I love fashion too. I would love that too. So long story short, I had met Aruna and seen her for the first time in India. And then when Daddy Janki, who was the head of the Brahma Kumaris and who passed away recently, sent me to Washington, D.C., Aruna was in her entourage and we did the opening inauguration. And at that time, she had her short haircut, and she's always such a beautiful speaker and such a powerful presence wherever she goes in a room. So I remembered her coming and sharing. And I think that was one of my pressing moments of sort of building the relationship. And over time, we would meet, have conversations, this and that. But I would say that the last few years, there's been a deeper connection, whether she was in the Middle East or I was in Washington. There was just an awareness. There was, I can speak for myself, Aruna. There's just an awareness of a friendship that I could trust. And that means a lot to me, even though we don't talk every day. So that was really my connection, Eric, with her. It was more that subtle link. And then you're like, oh, yeah. And then, so it's been a continuing unfolding narrative.
Yeah. And decades later, right? We're still all together. So Aruna, what is in your mind?
Yeah, I'm not very good with firsts, and I don't register these things. But with Jenna, I do feel a very close connection. And what I would like to say is, because there is this honesty in the relation. Well, let's say first there is the friendship. And as she said, it's not that we talk every day, but because there is genuine love and friendship, then there's no competition. Because you talked about, oh, you do that, you're similar. But actually, there's no competition. And when Jenna forwards me her things, her media ads, etc., I'm just so proud of her. And I just feel like it's great that we have such souls in the Brahma Kumaris. They are my brothers, they are my sisters, and we're all making this, show shine. And so I know that Jenna's been through a real journey. She's really come a long way, as she said, to become comfortable in her skin. And I really, again, commend her for that. This is not an easy path to find yourself and to be authentic and genuine, plus to be in the front line and always to wear that smile. But again, Jenna is one of those souls who does that. So yeah, well done, Jenna. You have come a long way.
Lovely. I really, I think we appreciate the connections we have. They're unique, they're very precious, and they have been going on for more than 30 years, 40 years. Both of you, what I really admire is that you had the courage to move to that authenticity when there's a high pressure around all of us to become perfect, or to look perfect, or to be perfect, and to fit in a mold that is the BK, standard fabric, where there's such an expectation about sisters in particular. And I found both of you have been very courageous in being authentic. And I won't go into details, but I think you both had your years when there was a kind of, whoa, wait a minute. Am I going to be Daddy Janki's product? And am I going to be shaped by the BKs or by Daddy Janki or by whoever? How am I going to just say, hey, wait a minute, I have to go my way, which probably is a good way, but I'm not sure. So you both went through some times that were a little bit tricky. And so maybe Aruna, I'll start with you. What has helped you in sometimes going a little bit off from the expectations and pressure from outside?
Yeah, you know, Eric, there's an expression in English that sin is be holy. And this means sin is necessary. Now, I'm not saying great sin, but the kind that you're talking about, like even to stray off a little bit, try something different. It's almost necessary. It's almost necessary to step away sometimes and be an observer to then appreciate what you do have. And every time that, yeah, I might have said, you know, to Daddy Janki, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. Well, as I said, sometimes with resistance, but mostly she agreed. And I've always seen benefit in that because it has made me stronger and wiser. And actually it helps me to understand other people. And just now I was in Manchester and there's a young group of, you know, girls and all studying to become somebody, an actuary, you know, studying actuary, studying medicine, studying architecture. And I spent like a couple of hours with them and I could just totally relate to what they were going through. And I was really trying to give the best from my heart because I was there at that point, being kind of undecided and, you know, I want to do this, but I also want to do something else. So I think all these experiences help us to serve people. If we are just, I'm not saying there is advantage in being in the straight and narrow, but if your character is such that it took you off course a little bit, I think it's always good to just take the lesson from that and then share it. And then it's not a mistake. You know, we say mistake is when you haven't learned something, but sometimes it's a price that we have to pay to become even wiser and stronger. And so I don't regret my life at all, actually.
And what's interesting is that you had a Daddy Janki by your side for so many decades. And what fascinates me about the question and the narrative that we're sharing with everyone in the room today, you had a Daddy Janki with you. And I know that she could see your potential. And yet there was a process that you must have been living through to get to what that potential looks like or feels like for you. And for me, what I felt was like, I would just remember that I was really doing the best that I could to understand what was required or needed of me. And for everyone who's out there, if you're firstly kind of wondering, what were we talking about? It's like when you start a new company. The people in the job, the boss, their expectations of you to progress so that the company does better. And when you come into this spiritual awakening, the expectation is on yourself that I want to progress and feel like, you know, I'm in God's heart. And if I'm in God's heart, shouldn't it be revealed through his children who could sense that I'm in God's heart? So for whatever it was worth, and I don't think I was ever trying to be anything other than what I thought I should have been in my interpretation of our teachings, but also things that I would hear or would be told. But I think what shaped me, Aruna and Eric and everyone, was there was a sense in which you're kind of pushed aside because you're not in the mold. You're kind of like, that's different. Go over there. Go, you know, you're over there. And there was something in being over there that allowed me to stay here and here with the divine, knowing that I didn't hear you telling me that in the morning class. I didn't hear you saying I was this or I was that. So for me, my growth was, do I believe? Do I believe that I'm worthy enough to shine in God's eyes so that I could be of service to the world? So sometimes maybe many of you might see I'm in the front or I'm on television and all of these things. And it's something that I just ended up there, really. I prefer being behind the camera than in front of the camera. That's where my strength is. My strength is in creating narratives, creating stories, watching people actually shine by me seeing them and seeing where they could be their best. But there was no one around to do it, so I had to end up doing it myself. So guys, it was more like, I guess I became whatever I am because I was kind of put in a particular corner, which allowed me only to be in God's heart and to trust that he knew what he was doing. And I have to say, Daddy Janki played a very key role in that, because she would always look at me and say, you know, you will uplift millions. You will uplift millions. I couldn't understand what she would say. There was no way I was ever near that. And she would say it again. You will uplift millions. And as I mature, I wait for that day to happen, because maybe when it happens, Brother Eric, it would be because not only am I deeply authentic, but that God's love will be so authentically flowing through me that there wouldn't be a doubt in the heart or in the mind of a person who comes into my midst or in the midst of our whole culture. So that's kind of like my feeling on that.
And did the fact of, like you said, something, oh, maybe Aruna, you want to comment?
Can I just add to this? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also, maybe for Jenna too, I don't know, but I think in the early days, it was more about finding ourselves, because we came very young. I don't think everybody knows, like we were teenagers when we came to the Brahma Kumaris. And so one, you're trying to find your physical self, and then you're trying to find your soul self. And so there was this kind of, well, there was the battle of the two, but I think once we got, I think this is where we are similar, that once we got confident in the physical, then the spiritual just like shot up, because that's what was needed. That getting just comfortable in your skin, so to speak, was a springboard to just, you know, flying, because then you are just yourself. And that helped us to just soul fly, because then all there was to focus on was the values that we're talking about today, the virtues, and focusing and being authentic with that. Because now there was nothing to be afraid of. You know, I am who I am. I'm in front of you as I am. And taking it. Yeah.
And I have to tell you, there was this part, and I don't know if anyone else has ever felt that, where you kind of felt like you were wrong, like something was wrong with you. And between the ages of like 15 to 25, it's natural for you to develop some element of an ego identity because you're still so young. And so it's not that anything was really wrong with you, but as Aruna was saying, it's as if you were also building and growing into a part of who would be a very strong factor in your complete growth and development. And I think it was when I reached like my 40s, I was like, Jen, you're okay. There actually wasn't anything wrong with you. And I think that when I got to that experience and that vision of what God had seen in me, it was such a relief. It was such a relief. And I just want to tell every young girl out there, whether you're on your path of spirituality or not, and you're just growing, it's a part of the process where you question yourself in those early days. And it's a part of the development, that questioning. But you will get to a point where, wow, there's no turning back in what you're becoming.
You know, there's sometimes we say that authenticity remains until the time we try to copy ourselves, because we create an identity, right, by releasing our true self, or we think we're authentic. But then we start to copy and be identical to the image that we created. And I think authenticity has so many layers, because we can be authentic now, authentic with my way of being at the moment, but authenticity with the essence of what we're being told in the Murli. For example, in those classes we read the Murlis, and when it says you are a deity soul, you are a pure soul, you're a very elevated soul, and we're projecting the image of the perfect self, and we want to be authentic to that image as well, to that eternal self, and listen to that eternal self speaking. And if I'm allowing myself to be just Eric and say, well, I'm Eric, I'm authentic, this is Eric, then I'm not respecting the higher self. We're saying, can you just tell Eric to go on holiday for a while? You've heard him enough, just be your true self. So when we go into that layer of, you know, being authentic with me now, but being authentic to who I truly am in my eternal original state, how do we deal with that? How do we move from being just an authentic, broken, or not broken, I would say imperfect individual, to an authentic being that I am way beyond this, you know, illusionary self. So that's why I feel copying myself, trying to be a good Eric, is authentic, but at that time it stops being authentic. Or when we say making effort to be authentic, is it being authentic?
Aruna, you want to go?
Well, I was just going to say a couple of lines that, Eric, I think you have to realize who's telling you that. If somebody amazing, great, somebody you trust is telling you that you are a deity soul, then you have to trust that. But if somebody I don't believe or have faith in, or I don't have a relationship with is telling me, then yeah, I might doubt that. So I think we're getting into that terrain of our relationship with God and how God sees me. I might see me as a copy of Eric, but how does God see me? Do I stop to reflect? How would God see me, or how would I like God to see me? And these are very deep questions on this path. And when we sit and reflect and come to terms with that, then again, because we know he loves and he trusts, he raises our bar. He raises us to that level continuously on a daily basis. And he pulls us up and he attracts us, or let's say, draws us to be more towards virtue rather than vice, because we realize that's where our peace and happiness lie. So it's, I think, all to do with God in our life.
Yeah, well said. I have to tell you that I'd like to make a disclaimer here. I don't think authenticity means this is just who I am. To be quite honest, I didn't even know I was authentic until Eric just mentioned it in this session. But now I will tell you and the world, I was never broken. In my 20s, I thought I was a mess. But as I started to learn more about the truth of the soul, the truth of the Atma, and that everything that I'm carrying in me as an experience is valid and is not to be thrown under the bus to say it was of not value, is that it's because of those experiences we're even sitting here tonight having such a rich conversation. I'm in India, Aruna's in the UK, Eric is in Canada, and I'm sure everybody else is all over the world, that we could take this hour together to talk about how can we deeply understand the purpose of our existence here. So the mirror of looking into God's light And then to have eyes that I see every morning, known as Brahma Baba's eyes, that have such a compassion on me. There's no way I'm broken. He just keeps seeing something more in me that Aruna was talking about, like what Eric said, the deity in you, this human being that has the capacity to emanate a virtuosity that makes the world feel better. And I think that is so profoundly powerful to have in your awareness. So again, I just wanted to say authenticity doesn't mean it's just me. This is the way I am. I might change. This was my first trip in years in India that I came on my own, Eric, by. I just needed to be with me. I wanted to be in my own company. I wanted to hear me. I wanted to see me again. And I went on a retreat, a treatment in Kerala to just be incognito. I wasn't Sister Jenna. I didn't have on a sari. No one knew I was with the Brahma Kumaris. And I got to the retreat and the people are looking at me and saying, "Are you the instructor? Are you a teacher?" I says, "No, I'm not." And even my Ayurvedic teacher was looking into the eyes and saying, "There's something about you. I don't know what it is about you." I go, "I don't know either. I'm a workaholic. I've come here to take a break. Are you going to show me?" I came here for me. And I was feeling that I needed to take care of myself more. And I struggled with that. That I just felt that taking care of myself meant I had to keep giving. Now, I don't know if I need to continue on that track or if I'm just not seeing what I need to see. See, that's authenticity, where you know that there'll always be room for change and this isn't your final chapter or this isn't your final copy yet. So that's how I look at it.
Any thoughts you want to add, Aruna?
Well, yeah, lots of thoughts coming. So Eric, don't you feel that if I just say that this is me, that is sheer laziness? Because there is more to me and there's more to my potential. And this is something that Dadi Janki had said to one of our students in Kuwait. So she has a very high profile job and very busy, as you said, workaholic. And so she said to Dadi, "Dadi, you know what, I'm very busy." And Dadi says, busyness is laziness, because then you're not willing to look at yourself. You're not even considering looking at yourself, taking time out. So I think it's quite just blasé to say, well, that's me and that's it. But am I not interested to find out that there is more to me than this? And back to this word of authenticity. Yes, I'm authentic now, but I could also be authentic as a deity, as an angel, as a compassionate, as a one who gives respect. I mean, I'm all of those things, but don't I want to experiment with that? And when I do, then it just reinforces that quality in me. So unless I do it, which is what you started off this conversation with, we talk about values, but until I actually do it, I don't add value to my life. And I think something that's common with Jenna and with you, Eric, I think we experiment a lot with the knowledge. We don't just sit back and listen. We do take it, we experiment, we apply it, and we share it, we talk about it. So then it grows in our life. And it's not dormant, or it's not like the other day it was said, you're just a little pond, but you're like the Ganges.
It's a powerful journey. I never thought that it would be like this. And I had no idea what it would be like. I remember telling my mother many years ago when I was a teenager, I like those people, but if this is a fluke, if it's not real, I still like the way that they live their lives. And here I am, like behind the scenes in the trench of this transformation within myself, not knowing that spirituality was constantly walking with this mirror in front of you, looking at the most compassionate eyes. The other morning I woke up for my early morning meditation at 4. And there was this image of Brahma Baba next to me, and he was radiating with God's light. And he was showing me this group of images in front of me, and there were the vices. There was anger, greed, lust, attachment, jealousy, competition, all of that. And I call him Baba, and Baba says, do you see them? Do you see what their purpose is? I says, I have no idea. And Baba says, to slow you down. Do you notice that they're not coming close to us? I says, yeah, because they're scared of me. When you stay close to me, they won't even dare touch you. And there was something in that morning meditation that made me think, you know, my only thing about this journey is I just need to keep speeding up, because now I know all that the ego, the anger, the jealousy, the fear, the anxiety, the shame, the insecurity, the blame, all that's doing to me is slowing down my ability to look in that mirror one day and go, oh my goodness, I made it. That's me. That's the me that I've missed. And that was one of the most powerful experiences I've had in a while. And I think that's what I think the world is looking for, that companionship with God, that they don't slow down in believing who they really were meant to be. And yeah, I think it's a journey of transformation every step of the way.
You mentioned a word I was willing to introduce, the word real. And the reason why I went into this topic of authenticity is because the workshop series, you know, is trying to take the knowledge about the virtues that we hear and say, okay, how can it become part of my life? Sometimes I hear myself giving classes or speaking about, you know, this beautiful philosophy. And I sometimes, while speaking, ask myself, Eric, what are you talking about now? Are you performing? Are you talking? Are you sharing? What are you doing? Where are you? Hello, Eric. You know, I just like to be real also, and to say, I've seen myself when I was younger preaching, you know, the knowledge of the Brahma Kumaris with very big enthusiastic heart, you know, and it was authentic maybe in a way that I would say, yes, we can become pure. And I would talk about purity and purity and purity until one day I realized maybe I should talk a bit less about purity and more increase my purity. Then I'll talk about it later. So what am I going to talk about? And Daddy Janki one day told me, I think told the group, I said, if you struggle, you can only teach people how to struggle. And if you have victory, you can tell people how to be victorious. I thought that was the day I will stop speaking forever. You know, I would say, well, that's it. Okay, I'm not going to say a word because I'm struggling. So what am I going to tell others?
Yeah. So Eric, I'm going to ask you a question. So that time when you changed your mindset or your whatever, your change of attitude. So tell us a bit about that. Tell us how you did that.
I will only tell it in form of a question to both of you. It was about being real. And yeah, well, I mean, you are the guest today, so you'll be talking, but I went through a similar process of having to reconstruct myself at some point, totally differently. And almost as if I put everything aside, thinking, okay, now I've done the way that it fit in the mold. Now, what am I going to start, you know, based on a different motivation? And the motivation was to be real, to be more authentic. So that's why I was trying to bring this word real, because when we hear about the virtues or even we talk about it, the question I often have for myself is it real? Am I real? And I don't know for you, but for me, it's a little bit different than authentic. I'm real at the moment. So I don't know, what do you think about, and I know we have about, you know, a few minutes left, but what do you think of this aspect of being real and helping everyone to say, yeah, we want those values to be real. So what does it mean to both of you being real?
Jenna?
It's just when I find that it's when my moment of silence matches my wisdom at that moment. It's like I'm in a deep place of reflection or connection. And then the wisdom is emerging, and whatever comes out, it's absolutely real. It's like when silence meets wisdom.
Silence meets wisdom.
Yeah.
Real? Aruna?
Well, as I've been saying, I mean, I think it's back to intention and intuition. I think that will tell us when that feels good, then you know that you're being authentic, or let's say real. But as soon as you start to feel an adrenaline rush, the heartbeat, some ill feeling, then you know that that's not real. So that's where it's good to really be in touch with ourselves and our feelings, and to use that as a barometer to see, okay, am I really being real, or am I lying or cheating or deceiving? Because that's our internal measure, I think.
So I think we're reaching a time for making a pause, or having a pause, and then thinking of the future. Do you have any blessings or thoughts that you want to share with the team and everyone listening about the next step in the workshop series, how to, make it more real, more authentic, and encourage the whole team to persevere and be consistent and courageous for another year?
Why change something that's already perfect? I think they're doing a great job. I don't see why they would change anything. I think it's being beautifully done. That's all I can say. I think keep pushing forward and stay as true as you've been so far. And I know the universe, the destiny, the drama, God, Baba, everyone's good wishes will morph it where it needs to go, because you're doing it from the heart.
And you will continue to accept invitations to be the guest. Congratulations, Jenna. Aruna, the last word.
Yeah, I want to say that, just continue doing more of the same, because even if you have the same speaker speak 3 years, they'll come out with different things and full of depth, because they've changed and the listeners have changed. So even if they're given the same virtue, so every year it can only get deeper and deeper, I think. So all best wishes to everyone. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Jenna. It's been lovely being here.
Well, thanks to both of you. It's been really an honor to be with my two beloved sisters. So you'll be living in my heart, but also in the apartment. So with lots of love, thank you, both of you, and thank you for the whole team. And back to you, Brother Manoj, for concluding this program. Lovely to be with all of you, and a big Om Shanti. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I would now request Dr. Ashok Mehta and Sister Claudia to propose the vote of thanks. Over to both of you.
Thank you, Brother Eric and Jana Ben, Aruna Ben. I think you're so perfect. You're authentic. You are authentic as well as honest. Whether you may go to the different phases, but I think authenticity and honesty cannot be questioned. It is, I have known all of you, and I've seen you over a period of time. I have always been very impressed with whatever you do. I have seen Jenna Ben in Washington, and she plays with the top politicians like friends. I think that's great. I've heard Aruna Ben playing with the royalties as very family members, and I'm seeing Eric by playing with each one of us in a very, very humorous way, and bringing us almost sometimes to realization that we need to be more humorous and jolly than what we are. So thank you very much. for bringing all your best qualities in this program. And last time I suggested that if one wants to bring about a little qualitative change, then maybe dialogues, maybe from all the continents, from the East and the West, 2 or 3 people talking on the same subject with a different viewpoints. I think that may make a little difference. Thank you very much, Manoj Bhai, Anu Man, Dr. Claudia. I think you all have been so beautiful a team. Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, Ashok Bhai. Lovely to see you at every talk. Thank you.
Om Shanti, thank you very much to be with us. It was very nice to see the values and virtues in a practical way of talking. So actually, Manoj and I, when we go and we pick he says this is the virtues, and we pick the one who is going to speak. I always say, I see this and this soul, so we put that soul to talk. And actually, the soul brings that virtues to us. But today was quite nice too to see you bringing more in details in the practical life how we use those virtues. So I'm very thanks to all of you. And also I like to thank all of them, the team who is behind us. We can see there is Kamlesh, who is in Fiji today, but is not here with us. There is Nikhil. There is all the ones who are doing the interpretation. Without them, we could not do all this. So we have in the Portuguese, can you show Manuel? Manuel is with us in the morning, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning in Portugal, and he's with us. He's with us all the time. So that way, all of those countries who speaks Portuguese can hear him. And also we have in the Spanish, we have in Spanish Olga, who is always with us too. All the details is always translated in Spanish. So we can send to Spain, to all the other places in America too, who speak Florida, who speak Spanish. So this Nikhil is a very valuable in our team. He does all those parts on the back. He's on the back. And so he take care of YouTube and everything. We have Sandeep. I don't know if Sandeep is here. I think Sandeep is working. But Sandeep is the one who prepares all the videos. And also I like to call our friends from France. And we have Mireille today with us, but sometimes also Micheline is with us. And we have also our recorders also, we cannot forget the recorders. And then we have Marina who is recording, and we have all the other recorders. So maybe we have also Hishal today who is in translating Turkish. So many is here today, and some are not today, but they're always with us. So we are really, is a big team. And you can see the other recorder too. We have Kashi who is recording. We have Garima who is recording. We have also in Hindi, who is a very important, is Shika. Actually, she's recording today from her car because she has to go to work. And she could not stop in those. So Shika is translating, and Garim is recording. So all those who are behind us, maybe I forgot. Yeah, there is the Deepak who is recording in Hindi. So Anu, you can just keep putting it. Of course, we have all of the youth know Anu, but Pooja also is a back, is also part of the team. So the team is a big team, but we work so easy together, so easy. Everything just goes very easy. We don't make much, so that we have Vidi here too. And everything goes very easy, very calm. And when we get something to have to redo it, we redo it. And then everything now actually became easy for us. Oh yeah, Shruti too is another important thing. Yeah. So thank you very much to all of you. Thank you very much to all of you. And yes, we have Tarand as well. Yeah. So thank you, all of you. It's quite a wonder of, it's quite a wonder, but it comes from the heart. That's why they are working with so much heart for this. That's why we would reach the second year. Otherwise, we couldn't do it. But the heart is behind. And then thanks Manoj Bhai and then Dr. Ashwin Mehta. We are always here together. So thank you, Eric, and to be also giving us that support. And Arun and Sister Jenna for sure. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Sister Claudia, for acknowledging all of them. Yes, we need to really acknowledge them. We forget them actually. The background team is always in the back and we are the ones seen in the front all the time. But thank you for...
I think we'll just mention Tamil and Telugu. We forgot. They're always there too.
He's still doing it. Yeah, this is the Ram Kumar Bhai. Yeah, there he is. And Sasi sister is there, the one who does Telugu as well. If she can be spotlighted here. Okay, so thank you for your blessings for the third year. And you always, you all said it that let us just go on as we are doing it. So here I'll just share the screen quickly. And before we go in the closing meditation, Anu sister, just be ready with the photograph after this, because again, people have started messaging me for that after the announcements. So, yeah, so as you can see, this is still ongoing. So bear with us for the closing meditation as well for the next 10 minutes. And we have a whole lot of new speakers from different parts of the world again. So we have Dr. Roger Cole, who is basically an oncologist and a palliative care physician and an author as well. He shall be speaking on positivity because he's really done a lot of work on this subject as well. It's happening in next 12 hours. So India time morning, 9 a.m. tomorrow. And for the West Coast, it's 8:30 p.m. tonight. And we also have, again, another new speaker for the workshop, Sister Antonella, who is one of the national coordination team member from Italy. And again, it's the positivity exercises. And these are our links and also the information on the websites. If you want to get in touch with us, please feel free to give us a feedback so that we know where we can improvise on. And with this, I'll just stop sharing the screen. And all of you, if you can please switch on your videos for this photograph before we go in the meditation mode.
I'm taking the photo. Maybe we can see the beautiful smiles. And give me a sec so that I get everyone. Everyone, you can open your video. Wonderful to see everyone. So beautiful. Yes, I got it. Thank you, Brother Manu.
Thank you. Thank you, Anu sister. So you want to play the music for the closing meditation as well?
Right.
Yes.
Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace, deep peace, deep peace of the gentle night to you. Deep peace, deep peace, you are a child of the universe. The moon and the stars pour their healing light on you. You are a child of the universe. The moon and the stars pour their healing light on you. Pour their healing light on you. Deep peace, deep peace. shattered my being, and I am helpless, receiving the grace, delighted. I'm filled with a fire that reveals the entire design of my destiny. Treasures of revelation, no hesitation, to be held by an open hand. I'm still now, and let the morning light show me the colors of a new day's dawn.
Thank you so much, all of you.